Welcome to my channel. I'm Sacha. I'm a television journalist originally from the UK, and now I'm working on the news in Australia. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you may have heard about the absolutely catastrophic flooding that has hit Australia in the last couple of weeks. On this video, I'm going to take you with me behind the scenes as a TV reporter as I cover some of the news in this area, which was really badly impacted. Many people's homes were entirely underwater. Come on. So we're just heading into Gloucester today, which is the location of our story. On the way in, we've just been assessing the damage. You can see the roads kind of been ripped up in certain areas. It's still raining quite heavily, but it definitely was worse than what it has been. So people haven't been able to get here. We haven't had a crew reporting from here yet. So today's the day that we're doing that. The roads are really quite damaged, but we'll see what the damage is for businesses and things like that. We've just managed to speak to a few people. People are really willing to talk actually, which you should not be surprised by. Sorry, Andy, bumped into you. I just think in this situation, people actually do want to talk. They have stories to share, and it's such a massive thing that everyone is obviously talking about it. Everyone's lives are affected by it. Sometimes when we go to stories, people are like, no, they don't want to talk. But yeah, it's really interesting. Just literally did a walk along the high street here and spoke to loads of people. It's the topic on everyone's lips essentially, so they've told us a few places that have been flooded, so we're just going to go, and in this situation you do kind of go in blind and just see what you can get. So we're going to go to two businesses that we know have been quite badly flooded now. You've been obviously covering the floods when I've been away. Just tell me a little bit, recap on what it's been like for you.
Yeah, look, it's been pretty devastating. Like the side of the town, Taree, Wingham, inundated. Never seen anything like it since Kempsey in 2001, which I think was probably even worse than what that was.
Really?
But yeah, just trying to get around it and get the division out and let the rest of the sort of the country know what sort of happened here.
Yeah. And what was it you were saying that in the office, when you were in the office the other day, you could hear the cows?
Yeah, our office in Taree runs along the banks of the Manning River, and as I was putting some stuff in the back of the car, I could hear the cows, distressed moos as they were washed past in the river. It was quite harrowing, really, to sort of hear the sound of them as they sort of were washed on by. Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I was saying this yesterday, that you think of all the kangaroos and all the other animals, koalas probably fine, but the kangaroos and other animals that survived the fires, if they survived the fires, and that's amazing because billions of animals died in those fires, and now for them to have to try and not get flooded or get washed away, it's just really sad. This river here, you can see it's been really badly affected. Oh wow, gosh, all that stuff that's washed up, like all the debris here. Oh, it's still flowing quite high. Next up, we went to this mechanic's workshop, which we heard was badly impacted by the floods. The owner showed us through as we captured the devastation left behind.
They even picked up 20-litre drums off the shelves over here and washed them out the door. Because we still had the doors open, we were trying to get the drums went out.
Then we did more filming with another business. This dog wash was entirely underwater. Just running to the loo. I know you guys don't need to know this, right? But when you're out on the road for hours, you don't know where toilets are always. You don't know where the next loo is. And I hate needing the toilet. So I think if I can go where I know there's a toilet, then it's preferable. So we've just spoken to a number of people. I mean, the thing that's blown my mind is that A, how quickly it rose. The water rose so fast. But B, gates and things were pulled off their hinges because of the power of the water. There was logs and things hitting them, but also like so much grass wrapped around, and then the force of the water was like pulling them away. So that's been really interesting. This just caught my eye from a distance. So this river here is what flooded. And look, oh my gosh, trees have been, all the stuff that's flowed up. Wow, all of this here. Oh my gosh. The woman that I was interviewing told me of a spot where the bridge is completely, like, not washed away, but it's completely covered. People can't get in or out and they're completely stuck. So we've just arrived here. I'm going to do a piece to camera here. I just need to change my coat because this has a logo on it. Okay, so changed. I'm wearing this coat which looks a lot smarter. However, obviously it's totally impractical. Like, I'm only going to wear it for the piece to camera, and then I'll change and wear something totally different. This just looks a bit smarter, so it's not even. Yes.
Bowman River is still flowing powerfully. Locals usually call it a creek rather than a river because water doesn't usually flow through here. More rain isn't helping matters as people can't get out or in.
Not too bad. We've just been down to one of the river crossings that was totally blocked off. The water was running over the bridge, trees were across it. It was a real mess. So got a few shots down there, did a piece to camera, and I think it all looked pretty good.
Yeah, we've got really good shots. I'm glad we went there actually.
Yeah.
That was good because that woman that we spoke to gave us the location. You sometimes do feel like you're on a wild goose chase sometimes, don't you? Like when we were driving out here, we were like, oh, are we actually going to find it? If not, we'll turn around. But we found that we were lucky that there were actual local residents there when we got down. Good to speak to them and always see how people are affected. The woman said something like, oh, this is usually, we don't even usually call it a river, we usually call it a creek because there's never water flowing through here.
You can see how much water's actually come down, you know.
Yeah.
Considering it's way over the bridge and it was like only a creek before.
Oh, crazy. So yeah, I put that bit in my piece to camera, which is good because that's local information. I'm not a local, to be fair, obviously, so it's good to get information like that. So yeah, we're just on the way back now. We'll probably pop into the SES and speak to them, see how they're doing, and what the prediction is for the rain. Because I think they were saying they predicted 100 mils today, which is, yeah, it's just not letting up. But hopefully over the next few days things will settle and it'll be fine. So, and also, what a legend! Hot chocolate. I'm very happy.
Over the next 12 to 36 hours, we're going to see the rain continue.
Just wrapped up all of our interviews for the day now. I just drove in to meet Andy, and it's the first time that I've driven through Tari since the flooding. First time I've seen it in person, and it's really disturbing. It's really shocking how high the level has actually come up. And there were so many houses that I drove past where just people had so much furniture outside and it was obviously all just completely destroyed. It looked like their entire houses were sat on their outside grass, ready to, you know, go to the tip. We ran to the supermarket to get some food because our electricity went off in the house, so we had no foods, just got some basics. The shelves are empty. I went to 2 supermarkets and a lot of them don't have things in because the trucks can't get here. Just goes to show you how fragile infrastructure is and how fragile life as we know it is, really. You know, it takes the skies to open up for people to run out of food, for their homes to be destroyed, and it's just, yeah, it really puts things into perspective. Anyway, I have a few food intolerances which makes getting food out annoying, and getting like ready meals or anything that's easy, basically, it makes it very difficult to do that. So I was glad I was able to find a few things in there and just some fresh things. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to Andy's. It's 2:33. We need to go back, edit this, get it proofed and everything like that. I'll do the voiceover, etc, and then we should be good. So I feel like I'm running on adrenaline, and yeah, driving through Tari where it's still raining so heavily. Oh my gosh, it's really crazy, really crazy. I need to do yoga tonight. Our office got damaged in the flood, so we ended up working from Andy's house, and here's his gorgeous cat Apollo. It was quite nice having a new workmate during this really interesting time at work. We also had a makeshift voiceover booth. The car is completely enclosed, so after a bit of a test, this is where I ended up doing the voiceover.
This bridge at Gloucester has succumbed to the power of floodwater. Fallen trees now line the middle, rendering it unrecognisable. The water rose almost half a metre in just 12 minutes here on Hume Street. The surge too strong for gates and fences.
And that was day one complete. We got some really strong interviews, some excellent footage, and it was great to be able to go out to Gloucester, which is part of our patch, which is quite far away, and obviously no one had got there before, so it was really good to be able to tell their stories. Hey guys, just back in the office today. Excuse all the posters behind me. Anyway, so yeah, the office is reopened, the electrics are back up and running. My computer is completely broken. It's just not turning on, so I think like some damp has got into it. It didn't actually get flooded in here, but the building is so old and damp that there's damp everywhere. Hey Andy.
Hey, yeah.
Good.
Oh.
Come on in. Come on in. So yeah, I'm just updating and saying that my computer's like not working, but we are back in the office, and we're going to do an update today on the bridge, which is still closed. So on the way to work today, like the traffic was just mayhem. Was it bad for you?
No, because just was over in town here, so yeah, it was pretty easy getting to work.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll do an update on that. The river levels are still way above what they should be, but they're going down steadily. There we go.
Alright, shall we away?
Day 2 of flood coverage. Okay, just under the bridge now, which is still closed off. There's so much mud everywhere, but look at this. See these gates here? They've got like all weird glass wrapped under them. It shows how high the water's come up. So you can just see behind me, I'm just walking under the bridge now, and it's come up to, look, it's just been washed into all of here. Wow. The river level is still really quite high today. The flood got really bad on Friday, Saturday, so it's, you know, a fair bit later. And you can see, so there were engineers who were abseiling on the bridge to just check the destruction. Looks like they're doing it now as well, actually. So it's really interesting to see how it's evolving. The river is also still flowing really fast. You can see it's still moving. And yeah, as I said, there's just grass like wrapped onto all of these railings here, which just shows the force of it. They've all been knocked down by the force of the water, which has obviously rushed through here. So the bridge is still closed today. Engineers are working on it. It will be closed for the next few days by the sounds of everything. I'm just going to go now and get an interview with the local MP, Mr. Steve, who's very good, and we'll get an update from him on exactly what the latest is with this. I'm going to try not to slip in all this ridiculous mud that's washed up everywhere.
Significant damage to the scaffolding underneath the bridge, where it's attached to the bridge, and all the scaffolding is built on that. So that's the reason why they need to take off all the scaffolding, because the last thing they want to do is have cars go across and have a bit of scaffolding fall off.
Okay, so Andy and I are just here by the river. Andy's doing a bit of filming, and right here, okay, 2 boys right here. That right there is a canoe that got stuck in the bridge, and look how high up, you can see how high up it is now, which shows just how high the water rose, the fact that there is a canoe stuck in there. We're just back in the car heading to the SES. It's day 2. For me, a flood reporting. What day is it for you, Andy?
About day 5.
Day 5, gosh. It is 28 degrees, believe it or not, which is just crazy. The sun just popped out last night, and it was as though it was like, okay, the flood is over. And we're all like, wow. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's so hot. I mean, it's good, but it's just the change and the difference is really weird.
Oh, I couldn't see without my sunnies.
I know. This thing called sunshine has emerged. Anyway, we're on to the next interview now. We'll keep you posted. Okay, it is Nearly 1 o'clock. What's the update today, Andy?
Caught up with our friends at the SES. Got a shot of a chopper delivering supplies to isolated areas.
Yeah.
And had a look at Old Bar Road. So
Busy.
been quite busy, haven't we?
Yeah, we have been busy. We were really lucky actually with the timing that we got to the SES, because we bumped into a local police officer who told us about the helicopter landing. That was just pure coincidence that we were there at the time when it was landing, and that will be probably the top shot of the story that we'll do today. So that was really lucky, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was really good. So yeah, good shots of that. Good update. I don't think any other news crew have got that, so that's great.
And we're going to be deploying that helicopter out into the areas behind Gloucester, which are a bit harder to reach, getting food and medical supplies to them.
The exact number of people still isolated is unknown, but working to reach them is a priority.
Sugar. Ooh. We've just arrived at the beach. We just wanted to get some shots in this town. We won't actually be able to stay for as long as we had hoped. This is Old Bar. But the colour of the ocean, I've never seen it this colour. Oops. And it's because the river has opened up to the ocean. They had to do that to try and minimise and mitigate the flooding. So it's like a very kind of browny colour. Lots of trees washed up. No swimming, it says. Not that you'd want to go for a swim in, that's not exactly appealing, but yeah, that's what the beach is looking like at the moment. It just looks like the site of a huge storm, which obviously it is. Once we got back to the office, I sat down and edited all of the interviews, cut them up into clips and started writing the story for that night's news, which includes reviewing and cutting up my own piece to camera, which today looked like this.
The attempts were made to get drone footage of the damage, but abseilers ended up getting photos showing the extent of the damage in this 1-in-100-year event.
Overall, it was a really successful day. I was so stoked to get those helicopter shots because it's a unique thing to happen within our region, and it was great for us to be able to actually cover that. So today was a great day. We covered different angles on the floods, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. Next time, we meet the Australian Prime Minister, follow fire and rescue and the Australian Defence Force as they help locals with the cleanup. Plus, everyone's just so emotional.
Yeah.
That was hard. Some emotional stories.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Make sure you've subscribed so you don't miss the next one, and while you're there, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.